Well, good morning, Brew Crew. It is a lovely, cold and chilly Friday here in New England. I've got the heaters on full blast, and I'm layered today. How are you doing this morning, Shannon?
Yeah, it is definitely cold. If
As
I
yes,
was more prepared for this, I would have had the weather report from my ambient weather station, not sponsored, but I highly recommend if you are into weather, get an ambient weather station.
now there's a couple out there. I know Todd WNSC, he had one that he was trying to convince me to buy one, and then I realized what the cost was. It's an investment. Is that you're in the same boat of that, or is it different?
No, maybe he had a Davis one. I know those can
Yeah,
be
that's
up
what it was.
there and
Yep.
they have like separate sensors that you can place in different areas, which is good
Hmm.
because the wind speed really should be like above the roof line, certain, number of feet up, and then the temperature and humidity is supposed to be a little bit lower down. Mine is all in one. It was like $200 or less on
Not bad.
Amazon. Ambient weather WS2902, I think is the model number.
Hmm. Very cool. I'm being an HOA. I'm sure if I put one out there, I'd probably get a cease and desist letter and take down in a matter of 20 minutes from the local Karens. So
Well, that sounds like a personal problem. So I have
it is.
17.4 degrees Fahrenheit right now in Massachusetts.
That is not with wind chill, that's for sure.
No, well, it says feels like
Oh,
17.4, so this does usually take wind chill into account.
nice.
So I guess the wind chill's not too bad at this exact moment. We're
Well,
only having gusts of 2.2 miles per hour from the west northwest.
well, there you go. Live from the weather girl there in City by the Sea, we'll say. Undisclosed location. All right. Well, enough of that. You didn't tune in for the weather here, although I'm sure those that are living in warmer climates are just laughing at us. Yeah. Good morning. This is Brew and Activate. So there's a bunch of folks in the chat this morning. Good to see Ted there. W1TED, Ham Radio Hef, Roger, Shannon. Obviously, he's always in there. That's obvious. I was thinking it was the other Shannon in my head. Ham Radio Playground and a bunch more. Thank you guys again for joining. Hopefully you got your coffee all nice and piping hot there and ready to dive into some really cool POTA topic today. This is a little bit off the beaten path, but we're going to try to minimize our whiteboard session because apparently it gives Shannon there a little bit of, some anxiety, I guess is the best way to say it.
It's like high school flashback with the whiteboard.
I don't know. I grew up with chalkboards and chalk. I don't know about you, so we'll see how that one goes. But yeah, we'll kind of get into a high level topic on today's topic. But yeah, you're here the first time. This is the place where we explore, analyze, reconstruct everything around POTA and Parks on the Air. So whether you might be an activator, maybe you're a chaser, or you just came here because you're curious about ham radio, then you come to the right place. Shannon and I we love to talk about this every week. We are POTA aficionados. We will, talk your ear off and share everything we've learned. And again, this is just about a bigger community as a whole. So we always like the idea of being able to support the Parks on the Air program and educate folks and share some really cool stuff. So, yeah, with that.
Time out.
Okay.
We got Ham Radio Playground sent a $20 super chat and said, enjoy the show. And
Awesome.
Bob sent a $19.99 super chat and said, good Friday morning, everyone. So thank
Good morning.
you guys.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much. Appreciative. Thank you, as always. Thank you guys for supporting the channel. And, we're going to keep getting Shannon to that point, so you'll have many more opportunities to be able to get her fueled up. She's still a little young account, but, that takes a little time and growth. And so, yeah, help her out, spread her channel out there, get folks to subscribe and be part of that. Maybe that'll get her motivated enough to do, some more video content and go from there. Maybe.
Yes.
Maybe?
I don't know. It might need to get a little warmer. I'm not a cold weather POTA girl.
Nor
not
am I.
gonna lie.
Well, we're both January babies, so that's totally acceptable. And our stance is I'd rather sweat to death than freeze. But all right. Well, I have to apologize this morning. It's been a freaking busy week as always because apparently, getting to the end of the year in the IT world and everybody's got stuff to do. So I have not put a POTA Minute together. So we are going to skip over that today.
This is isn't this 2 weeks in a row we haven't had a POTA Minute?
Oh, no. Oh, well, last week we dove into a bigger topic. So, yeah, we kind of forgoed that for the purposes of being able to really stay focused on point there. So, yeah, POTA Minute. But with that, heck, if you got something that's maybe bothering you, you want to get maybe some clarification or answers or whatever, send it on over. You can email me at n1jur.nh@gmail.com or head over to our Discord as always. And Shannon will throw that link there in the Discord. Come be part of the Brew and Activate channel there and post your your question there, and we'll make sure we rope it into maybe the POTA Minute next week. And we love to help you out. So, definitely take the time and we'll make sure we do the little research and get that answer for you. So with that, we also have our POTA bucket list. So let's head on over there real quick. There is no new people that we added to this week. So just, refresh people's mind. This is the POTA bucket list. And what we're trying to do here is just build another community kind of effort. I know it's winter and it's not, as always, exciting to go out and activate. Although I have to say one of my best friends, Keith, AC1RH, set out to say that he was going to activate in 7-degree weather today outside on a park bench. And he delivered because he texted me and, I saw his ham alerts. He was out there banging out on 40 meters, making the contact. So, he's out there, go help him, so you guys can, continue to hunt him. And, I love Keith. He's a POTA machine by no stretch of the imagination. So, yeah, he is kind of, a little bit of the impetus of why we do the POTA bucket list. We want to encourage folks to be able to just, reach their goals in POTA, no matter what they might be, kind of do it a little community-driven effort here. So we've got the POTA bucket list, and you can see that over at n1jur.com/POTA-bucket-list. And we'll put that in the chat there, just so you can head over in there. Yeah, submit your quick bucket list there. And, we will probably be circling around the new year because I'm going to try to do something a little bit more special and off, this main channel, or maybe part of the main channel going in the new year. I'm trying to encourage folks and maybe highlight some of the cool, bucket list items you might, want to achieve in your POTA list. And yeah, heck, if you've also updated that list and, you want to just let us know that, maybe you crossed one off, send me an email or just resend on the form there, or post up on, Discord there. And, we'll be able to, share in all of your successes and wins there. So good. All right. Well, with that, we're going to kind of dive into our show today. So actually, we totally skipped over our POTA weeks. Man, my outline, once again, Shannon, we were talking offline, how I like to live by my outlines. And this is why I live by my outlines. It's not in my outline. So what's been going on? How's your ham radio week first?
I haven't really had a ham radio week just because it's been, so cold. But I did get together with the Pokies yesterday. We had a Pokey breakfast, as
Oh,
you
very cool.
do.
Nice.
So, that was nice.
Yeah,
And yeah, gosh, then I went and I went to the hair salon
I know. We
after
were
the
going to see
Pokey
how far we were going
breakfast.
to go into the episode here before
Like,
people started
I
commenting. I don't see
I'm
any
like,
comments in the chat there.
no one has mentioned the elephant
Wow.
in the room.
Well, I wouldn't say elephant in the room, but yeah, I would say, yeah, tisk on the chat there. You're obviously not watching the video. You're just listening to us apparently. So there we go. Shannon Jabberjaws with the recovery there. Nice job, girl. Yes, she has gone rogue. She is a redhead. And that means it's an extra, on top of the YL, voice on the air, you're going to extra 10 dB, so it's like she's got a 600 watt amp behind her, no doubt, and she's fiery, so don't piss her off.
Mhm. I figured, the hair had to match my personality, right? So fiery personality, fiery hair.
What does that say about a bald guy then? I don't know. Well, I'll have to ask Grouch that one because him and I and Todd all sharing that, and we're still trying to figure that mystery out. And I did forget, and because I didn't put it in my notes, we are happy to say we're ready. We have delivered. We'll put it this way. I finally, after finding some time in my schedule, we finally have a podcast version of Brew and Activate. So if you are one of those folks that just can't listen at work or whatever during the day, we now have answered your cry. And so we have put together a podcast of all of our episodes up to date. And this one will just follow suit right behind it. So if you want to, we can post that link there. I got to dig it up because I'm, again, so off beat here. I think it's over in the Discord there, Shannon, if you want to grab that if you can.
What am I grabbing now?
Our, the link to the podcast version of Brew and Activate, if you could.
Okay.
It's probably somewhere in there. I know I posted it, but if you can't, if we can't grab it, you head over to our Discord. It's a good way to get there. And the link's there, and heck, subscribe to it. We'd love to have you be part of that. And again, it's going to be loosely fitted because I really like to do the live stream aspect of it. It's a little bit more visual, but I understand people are, in the middle of their work weeks and stuff like that and doing stuff that they ever want to go back to replay and listen. It's going to be just basically the same show in podcast format. So yeah, let me know what you think about it. Head on over and post that in the Discord. Or feel free to post it on any one of your feeds. I have not submitted it to the podcast directory yet, so don't try to search there. You're going to need the direct RSS link. So that's just something to just keep in mind there as well. So, all right. Well, I guess my ham radio week, I've been trying to get a couple of videos done, I think, mostly related to ham radio that I have been procrastinating on. I've got a couple of new radios that I haven't alluded to yet that I want to kind of release out there video wise. But I've also got a backlog of other stuff. I got a really good, sadly, a couple weeks ago, I guess Josh, Ham Radio Crash Course, released that video on his whole, chest rig that he has. And I always wanted to get one because as being a YouTuber and a ham radio nerd, I'd like to have everything kind of centralized instead of on my back. But I'm sure I'll probably carry around a backpack. But when I go to Hamfest, I like, you want to grab the stickers, you want to grab the radio, that type of stuff. So I found a couple of chest rigs, and I found one that I really liked. And so I'm going to do a video review on that soon. So that'll be coming out, definitely to the members first. So if you really want to get on the inside and see that before it gets released to the public, then that'll be posted probably by the end of today, I think, is what my goal. I just got to do a little spit and polish on it. So yeah, not really radio related, but I've been
radio adjacent.
Yes, exactly right. Yeah, so it's enough, but it keeps you updated. And those that are on our membership, for N1JUR, yeah, that'll be coming out soon. So keep an eye out for it. All right. Well, we are going to finally dive into our topic today, and this is a big kind of ball of proverbial Christmas lights. It's kind of hard to, answer this, with one simple well, maybe Shannon could, but one simple way of describing how do you get self-spotted when you're out in a park that may not have internet? And I know Shannon's got one or two that would add to that list, but we're going to get into some of the nuts and bolts and alternatives that you might not be aware of, or maybe you've tried it yourself. And these are going to be just very high level kind of concepts. So if you come here to kind of get a how-to and all of the nuts and bolts and steps, we're not going to cover that today, but we're just going to give you kind of like the everything kind of view of it and let you know or make you aware of some stuff that's out there. And then, if there's a desire, and so this is another good way to segue back to the Discord. If any of one of these kind of ring a bell and you're like, hey, I really want to learn more about that, let me know. Post that up on the Discord and I'll see what I can do, or comment down below in this, stream here. Let me know if you want to see one specific thing and I can dive in and do a deep dive either on Brew and Activate, or I can do a separate video for folks and go over that if you're so, interested in it. All right. Well, anything going on there in the chat? We obviously got all the super chats, so thank you guys again for those. Appreciate all the support in the channel, and you guys just rock. So, as always, who did win the shirt? I didn't see that one. Let me go here. I'll have to go back up to the who got the goal here. It looks like it was a Ham Radio Playground. Looks like it got it. So I will reach out to you, Ham Radio Playground, and we'll get you your choice of shirt. You can see all of those shirts or T-shirts over at our store at Live Free and Ham /shop. If I could type the links here, I should just be more prepared. There it is in the chat. So if you want to go check that out, Ham Radio Playground, and let me know what T-shirt you wanted, we'll get that over to you as well.
And speaking of T-shirts, there is going to be a new T-shirt on the Live Free and Ham store. So I'm in the works of designing it right now. So make sure you check out the store. I was hoping we were going to be able to debut it today, but like Eric spent too much time talking to me about my hair and about POTA spotting. I didn't get to have him, show me on the website, exactly how to get everything perfectly set up and have him share his screen so he could debut the shirt right now.
I did not know I was going to have to do a tutorial. Well, we'll have to take that offline then at this point, but yeah, no. So those are coming. She's got some, obviously last episode, she had, there's a lot of ideas flying around. We even went to the advanced lengths. I think Tortoise Overland had posted, or he sent me a link later on, the POTA wagon. And that POTA wagon, he actually found a wagon that was self-propelled, had its own battery. I think it had its own cooler. It had, this thing was like decked out at, just under shy of $1,000, I think. But
yes, if you want to see this POTA wagon, Eric sent it to me. I thought it was fake. I was like, this has to be fake. I think it had like lighting, like LED lighting on it. It had undercarriage lighting.
Yeah. It had, balloon knobby tires. This thing is like the, Mercedes-Benz, of, pull carts. And you didn't have to pull it because literally it had a driven motor so it could go in reverse and forward. So, yeah. If you got the money, let me know. I'll be your sugar daddy. Or I'll be your sugar mom. All right. Well, enough of the banter here. Let's get into some of the stuff that we're going to talk about. So I am going to jump over to our whiteboard session in a second, so I don't have to make Shannon panic there too much. So we're going to talk what we'll call, I think, the alternatives or the less known type ways that you can spot yourself at a park. And so the scenario kind of plays out this way. You go to a park, or maybe you go to a new area, and you haven't done any like the kind of recon that you normally do for like a park. It's kind of one of those, I'm going to do a park activation on a whim kind of thing. Well, you show up, and lo and behold, you've got like one bar of cell service. There's no Wi-Fi at all, where you're at, because it's a, maybe a wildlife management area or a BLM area. And so there's no like public, accessible type services. And, you're like, well, how the heck do I spot myself? Well, the obvious and easiest answer is what Shannon said to me earlier offline, which was,
And it's what a lot of people in chat are saying as well, is you just ask a hunter to spot you.
well, if you're like a guy and you don't ask for directions, so you're not going to obviously ask any
Oh,
hunter.
so that's what this comes down to. Now the truth comes out.
I will be the first that I've been in places that I've been like, man, I have one bar service. I can't pull up anything data wise on the phone to spot myself. My tablets aren't going to be able to get out and do the same thing. So yeah, I will admit, and it's not like a bad thing. I've always asked a hunter to spot me, and they've been gracious enough, and we could probably end it here and say goodbye and have a good morning. But I think there's other alternatives out there that you can use that might stretch you. Both in two ways. And what I'll say is that the things I'm going to share is very high level. And, we'll talk more around, how they can also be in addition to helping you in an emergency kind of scenario. Because remember, POTA is both fun and exciting to do. And it lets us use our gear in the outdoors and all of that. But at the same time, it's also, we're practicing for that emergency. We're becoming more radio proficient and better in those times when we might have to step into that gap to be able to, for whatever reason, make communication or, help somebody in assistance or something like that. And this is one of those ways that you can do that. And so we're going to talk a little high level around these. And as again, just if you're ever so inclined and you want to see one of these broken down a little bit more into a kind of a tutorial and a setup thing, let me know and I'll make sure I get into my video loops here and start, the process of, maybe going into a deeper dive. So now I'll go over to my whiteboard here. All right. So with the process, so we'll start, I guess, I've got, I think, 5 here. One, let me just double check. Because all of my notes have a lot of different bullets and stuff like that. So we'll dive into this the best we can here. Okay. So the first one I'm going to do here is probably the most obvious and relatively easy to follow. And let me just we'll give you all of them here, and then that way people will have some other way to, kind of follow along here outline wise. So, all right, let's go to my whiteboard. Lodge. All right. So these are kind of the topics or the areas that I'm going to cover. And some of them may be a little bit of a stretch, but I was trying to give everybody the best information we possibly could with, the idea that we can, kind of flush these out. Obviously, the easiest one is Winlink. Everybody, has or hopefully has at least once in their life, ham life, set up a Winlink account and got configured to be able to send Winlink, even if it was with like the basic telnet and stuff like that. Shannon, you have a Winlink account?
Yeah, of course I do. I am
Okay.
a huge proponent of Winlink Wednesday.
Well, then this first one should be perfect for you. So, yes, Winlink has what we call a POTA gateway, and they've set up an established way to be able to fire up Winlink and go over RF, and you can send, a very kind of descriptor or pre-canned message that will allow your spotting page or spotting information to be posted directly to the spotting page, and then we'll talk a little bit around some of that. And well, if you have no internet, Shannon, how do you post to social media?
No.
Remember.
Oh, other Shannon.
Other Shannon, sorry. Jabberjaw Shannon, sorry, yes. You're kind of at a rock and a hard place if you can't, obviously even get out to social media. Because if you could, then at that point, you're just adding, more excitement to this. So think in the terms of like one bar, no bars,
Yeah, so she was saying she does that before she leaves home. And that also, like, before you leave home, right? Like, I don't know, I can't see your whiteboard very well on my my stream, but so before you leave home, right, you could also pre-spot yourself, right? You can schedule your spot and then it comes up.
Yeah. Okay. So I do sort of agree with that. My other challenge with that is, okay, how do you I am not the type of...
But we know that opens up a can of worms, right? Because then it's like you might not be, how do you know what band or frequency? Because there's QRM and...
that is definitely part of it, for sure. The other thing is, I don't know, here, let's do getting rid of... Where is that? There we go. All right. So I think the biggest thing for me would be like, okay, I tried that, and I know it works pretty well for most effort, even when you're not per se in a on the frequency that you said you're being spotted on. But like for me, like where my schedule, I don't always plan my activations. They're kind of a lot more just based off of where I'm at by location, and then I'll go out and activate because it's timing and schedule. So taking the extra time at the time to spot myself probably could be done. It's not difficult to do. But at the same time, I always forget that step because I'm like, I just want to get to the park. I'm more looking at the overhead views, Google Maps, how to get there, where to park, what do I need to kind of take out of the truck for antennas, that type of stuff. So if you do that, I applaud you because that is definitely a good way to kind of get people. And there are people that definitely spend time on that spotting page for sure, or at least the activations page to be able to get, the list of, who's going to be out there during the day. So, all right. So back to the Winlink option. So we will dive into some of the bullet points around that, and all of these have a little bit of high-level things I want to touch on. This next one I thought was very interesting for me. I am not a big JS8 call user, but in essence, there is a JS8 call APRS kind of messaging component that you can do. From what I understand, and at least some of the research and links that I'll have, it can be done relatively easy. So most of this stuff may require either a laptop, and if you don't have a laptop, a device like maybe an Android device that allows you to talk via Bluetooth to, an HT or whatever. And so the idea really was to give you options and then figure out what best fits into your kind of, workflow. This next one, which is the FT8 SOTAMAT digimode. This one's an interesting one. There was a couple of videos that I was watching and went through a little bit of being able to use SOTAMAT. I keep doing SOTAMAT. They have a great system to both post for the SOTA spots, but at the same time, it also allows you through those types of digital modes to be able to send a spot for POTA in your activation. If you're a CW person, reverse beacon network is great for that. There's really not much you have to do there. All you have to do is just call CQ POTA and the beacon network picks it up for you, and then it slurps it right into the POTA's page. So you literally have to do nothing except just do your activation. So call CQ and we'll show you a couple of examples around that. APRS X25. APRS is one of those modes that I love, and I wish it was better built into a lot of the mobile rigs that we have and HTs. But if you happen to have an ICOM, ID51, ID74, 75, or a radio that does Bluetooth via or cable via your cell phone to say an HT, you can do APRS and send a quick APRS message to the POTA gateway and easily get your spot posted that way. And that's all via RF again, because your phone doesn't actually have to do any of that. There we go, Mike. Yeah, you didn't have an internet access. Yes, we struggle hard with that one. This one, I was reluctant to decide I was going to post, but I decided anyway that I was going to do club or net voice spot. Now, I haven't heard any POTA style type nets that are out there, like where you log on to a scheduled say we'll use 14.300 the maritime net. There's nothing that they're announcing POTA spots, but here's a caveat or a sidebar to this is that you might not have a club net to do that, but you have local repeaters in the area, and a lot of us have already say pre-programmed repeater frequencies in our HTs. There's no reason why you can't put a call out to a local repeater and say, hey, I'm doing this quick activation. I don't have cell service. Is there anybody available on the repeater that can do a quick spot for me on the spotting page? And I've done that myself on my local repeater, and it's worked great. It's helped me definitely, also schedule a couple of contacts with folks. So on the 2 meter and 440 that, you kind of can lead in there saying, hey, I'm also doing an activation. Would you be willing to, do something on 70 centimeters or something on 2 meter, simplex frequency or something.
Not only that, it's like if you're, already calling out on a 2 meter repeater to see if somebody can spot you, ask them to switch over to, 14652 or, 4460
Yeah.
and, see if they can hear you on simplex. And then you can get 2 meter, 70 centimeter contacts for your POTA.
Yeah, definitely. And understood. Don't be ashamed to be able to say, "Hey, I'm out here activating. Can you spread the word?" Kind of let that happen. And most people will happily do that because to them it's like it might be traffic, and they're like, "Oh, cool! I get to be able to practice the traffic passing," in a very nonchalant kind of social way. So definitely a good option there. And then other off-grid options. SMS telecom bridges. There's an app. So this kind of plays into that one. Like I have 1 bar kind of thing on my cell phone where you can't. No matter how high you get on top of a rock face, you can't get more than 1 bar kind of thing. You can use apps, and I actually in our members only got a chance to see this early video release on an app called POTA Offline Spotting. It does it via SMS, and so the SMS network for most cell phone systems is able to send text messages a lot of times when you have like barely a bar of service, because the data and the size of the packets and whatnot is so small, it's very easy to do. And now that we have the dawn of, say, satellites and phones from an emergency standpoint of being able to have your phone connect anywhere, that is one other way you can send a text message out to folks to be able to to get spotted on that page, because a lot of the newer smartphones have that cell or a satellite connectivity to be able to send an SMS text out, but voice isn't an option. So, that is one is definitely, we'll say not ham radio RF specific, but definitely still, available through, the simple methods of being able to send text messages. So, all right, let's kind of dive into this a little bit point by point. And we're, again, doing very high level stuff here. And if there's anything, that kind of tickles your fancy, you want me to kind of dive in a little bit more, let me know, and we'll get into it, on a separate video. And so we'll talk Winlink here. And so the Winlink setup basically is a simple, easy spot. You can get Winlink configured here. And with it, you can easily send it in this format, and so we'll send it this way. Let me post this up here on my lovely whiteboard. All right, so sending with Winlink is really simple. All you have is a spot, and you put this in the body of the message. You're going to spot, your call, the park reference, frequency, mode, and comment. And as long as you have those 5 criteria spaced out, when you send it to the Winlink gateway for the spot page, you'll automatically get your spot posted up to the site. And this one's probably the simplest and easiest, especially if you got Winlink on your phone. Say you're using Radio Mail if you're an iOS user, and I can't remember what the version is on the Android side, and you have an HT, and that HT can reach a Winlink gateway somewhere. If you are even so more blessed and you have an all mode radio, this is again another option. You can just basically go to 2 meter 440 sides, find those Winlink gateways, and send the notification out that way. As long as you're following the format, you can get your spot posted and get yourself up and running. So those messages, that's probably the fastest and easiest way to get your spot out there and get it up the network, especially if you've got yourself equipped with, say, an FTX1, you're an ICOM 705 user, or maybe you're a 706 radio, or any one of those all mode, 857s, any of those might help. Or maybe you're, so inclined and you carry around an HT with you. So that might be, one more reason why you probably want. I know Mike, N2MAK, is there in the chat. He's been trying to do, bring more EDC kind of radios with him. And he posted, I think, a short a while back with him or maybe it was a picture of him with his little Baofeng Mini sitting on the treadmill. Good job on there exercising, Mike. Maybe you should pick up the PTT every once in a while and call CQ. So, that definitely a great, way to kind of, get that more radio involved in everyday life. All right. Next one here, and we're going to probably be blowing through these. So Shannon, jump in if there's stuff in the chat, that people have questions or whatever, let me know, and we can stop for a second and go through this. But next one is the JS8 APRS stuff. And so What you're going to do, this again is reliant on, say, the POTA gateway and its systems and methods to sending. And so with that, you're just going to do, as my notes keep going through here. You're going to compose a simple message via APRS and send that off to POTAGW. And that's the user that you're going to be sending the email to, or sending the notification to. And it's going to follow through the process there of being able to, what I got to do here? Let's get rid of this. Keeps copying over. So you're going to compose that message and address it to POTA Gateway. And then in it, you're going to follow the same formats. And you'll probably see a very common theme that goes throughout all of this is that call sign, park location, frequency, mode, and then any comments. So as long as you follow that syntax through most of these tools that I'm showing you, you'll find that the message will go through and you'll get it pretty quickly posted on the spotting page. And then the gateway will then forward off to POTA.app. Now, obviously, you can't verify that 100%, but you'll probably get a pretty, pretty good response from folks hunting you as you start to see the volume of, more people, coming on as you're calling CQ. So simple and easy with that one. And again, all of these probably will require some tablet to have with you, or some other third-party app that maybe you have on your Android phone or tablet or whatnot. So these are things you probably want to consider in your kit. Again, not all of us go to the field with a tablet or a full-blown laptop and all of those connections for it. But, I think I'm here to kind of encourage you to start thinking a little bit more broad and trying some of these alternative modes that we probably don't do a lot, because if you're like Shannon and I, the first park you're going to find is one that has pretty close cell service, or, doesn't require you to spend, time spotting, or you're going to do a little of the prep work like Shannon mentioned earlier, basically hitting the activation page, with your spot and stuff like that. Anything in the chat at all that I missed? We keep plugging away here.
Now we're talking about APRS Thursday broke a record this week with 857 check-ins. So,
Wow.
shows there's a lot of interest for APRS, which is good. I've checked into APRS Thursday a couple times. One of the guys on the PokeNet is really into APRS Thursday. I think it's Charles KC1BAZ, but I can't remember. Sometimes, you get a little mixed up with the guys' voices and call signs on the air.
Right. Understood there for sure. Yeah, I tend to not remember call signs and names, but I remember voices very well, and it takes a long time for me to remember how to do all that. Get my brain wired the right way. Okay, so the next one is FT8 SOTAmat, and I actually should back. That is awesome, I should say, because that's what I wanted to say earlier. APRS is finally, we need to keep using a lot of these modes. It's kind of like if we don't use it, we lose it approach. So, yeah, kudos to those folks that are, making APRS noise and making it, very, exciting again. And I'm hoping that, it innovates a lot more in the sense that, if you can get out in the field and start doing these things, more and more, obviously you're draining more and more RF out there, but at the same time, you're also maybe getting more people interested in the idea of, trying to be prepared, but at the same time, fooling around with modes, or applications that you probably wouldn't touch normally. I know obviously one of these in the list is the AX25 stuff and Packet. Last time I did Packet was probably 1993, so it's been a long time.
I use Packet Winlink all the time.
Aren't you just special? Just put me to shame one episode a week. And I've been a ham longer. I guess I'm just getting old and codgy. Who knows? All right. Well, with that, our next mode is FT8 SOTAMate. I did see a few chats roll by, folks using SOTAMate. The SOTAMate process is a little challenging to get set up, but once you get it set up, it's rock solid and it works really reliably. It's a really great app. You do have to be consistent in using it. Otherwise, it's such a widely used service that they kind of purge you through. Hey, Shannon, get on that. the idea is that with it, the app and the ecosystem are pretty robust, and offer very much a lot of those ways to be able to get your spot out. Because obviously when you're doing SOTA, you're in the middle of nowhere. You probably don't have really good cell service, or if you're activating, say, from a mountain peak that, you can't get something out for whatever reason. These are, tools that are very worth their weight in gold to be able to get you, spotted on those pages for people to come hunt you. So with the SOTAMate one, there is obviously a way to encode this, and so those that do use it know the syntax and the format of how to do it. But it is very much an RF kind of based tool. So with it, it uses obviously all the RBNs that are out there, PSK reporter, that type of stuff, and it's really just a very simple message format that, when, just like all the rest of them, when it goes out, it gets to where it's supposed to, and it gets you spotted. And so this is, again, another way you can get out to get your POTA spot out there. This one's a little bit more tricky, like I said. So if someone's interested in learning more about this, I've got some links here that I'll throw in the description after for, how to get SOTAMate set up. And maybe if there's an interest and people want to see this at a park kind of style, let me know, and we can always integrate that in and see if we can try to do it ourselves. All right. Next one is kind of specific to folks that, we'll say are of the Morse code variety. They know very well and have built a really good, infrastructure to help support them to get spotted, to get out on those spotting networks. So we're going to talk, talking about the reverse beacon network. This is a great, simple, easy solution. And maybe, the impetus to get you over the, say, Morse code hump. If you're so inclined and you've got a Morse code key with you and you bring it, you can easily just get out, do a quick CQ POTA, K, whatever park, and then the DE, and then your call sign. The spotter network or RBN will pick you up very quickly, and then you can get back to CW. The one challenge, obviously, with that is that it's going to spot you, obviously, on CW as the mode. So you might have to, deal with that, because I know, like, sometimes when I go to the spotting page, I'll see people that are, on the sideband view, but they are using a FT8 frequency. And I think a lot of times that just might be that they either didn't know what they were doing, or they, might be on, got picked up by the FT8, spotting network. So this is an easy way to obviously get out there. So if you can, if you have to learn anything in Morse code, this might be the thing you want to learn and get it down pat, so you can easily get yourself spotted when you're in a pinch. And then, hopefully people will follow you over the sideband if you're more of a sideband guy myself. Not to say you can't continue with your Morse code activation there.
Yeah, I have to say Morse code is probably, if you know Morse code, which is the hard part, is probably the easiest way to spot yourself if you don't have cell service, besides just asking a hunter to spot you.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, especially
I've seen people in the field use the, CW spotting just for fun. Just because they can. We're all standing around with cell phones. We could very easily spot ourselves, but they're like, no, I'm going to do it this way.
We're going to do it the right way, the ham radio way. Come hell or high water.
Exactly.
We all suffer from that for sure.
Those CW types.
Don't
Yes,
get me going.
listen, okay, if you're a CW person, I'm just kidding. I too want to learn CW, and I'm a lifetime member of Long Island CW Club. So I only tease you because I love you.
Yes, that's Shannon's love language.
Yes.
All right. Well, with that, then you're in the right crowd for sure. I'm the most sarcastic person you'll ever find on this planet, or one of the top 10 at least. So, yeah, and so Morse code, definitely, it's kind of one of my bucket list goals, and I think I'm going to have to update it, because I'm trying to get back into some of those other modes, and I think I can definitely try to muster some energy to try this. So maybe you might see it in a future video. We'll see. It might be the biggest fail video. I'll have to title it as such, but we'll see how it goes. Our next topic, APRS X25. So these are kind of hand in hand a little bit. APRS is something we were already talking about in the chat there. I saw a lot of messages flying by. They have a great network that's available out there. I mean, obviously there's the SMS APRS gateway that's available for folks to use and get set up on. But maybe you're, like I said, back to that whole HT and RF APRS through maybe a Mobilink or through, DigiRig or any of those systems. A lot of those tools you probably already are bringing with you. On an activation. So, maybe kind of sit back, look at your setup there and see what else you need to add to maybe making this another way that you can spot yourself without, having to put too much effort in assembling something, as simple as just an RF APRS kind of gateway and then send your notification out using it to APRS-SPOT or POTAGW, using, again, the same format that I listed above. And try that out. Because for what it's worth, this is something I'm more passionate about, I should say. So I'm going to throw the challenge to folks. If you've tried this, let me know in the comments down below, because I want to see, what your success was and whether it was reliable as you thought it was. And if you haven't tried this, maybe you should put this on your list for 2026 as when you go out to your activations and try it out yourself there and see if and report back, because I'm always curious. Let us know over there on the Discord. As we have got a very thriving group over there that loves to talk about POTA and POTA related stuff. So check that out and be part of that whole conversation, and let us know, because we want to see people start using more of these modes, and I want to learn more about how it worked for you and how I can be better in my setups there. So the one that's kind of more we'll call social focused, but is still very much the radio side of things, is the club voice type nets. Now, I wouldn't strongly suggest this to you when you're looking for an HF net to do this, but I would use a bit of caution with this. Now, if you've run into, say, a net that's out there and you're scanning the bands and you obviously can't send a spot and it's tough conditions, but you're hearing a net that's out there, feel free to join in the net, check in, and then ask politely, possible, if you think it's that environment for it, like maybe it might be a rag chew net or something like that, or it's the typical, give your day status net. Throw it out there and see if, someone will be willing to spot you. And if they come back and say, sure, what it is, then, I'll give them the information at that point. You can leverage those networks. Those are okay, but just be kind and courteous to obviously what the type of net is and what its purpose is. Like, don't get on the maritime mobile net and say, hey, can you spot me? Because they're going to look at you like you have 6 heads and, you're a complete and utter moron. But that is one way. And, have you ever heard any of these POTA type nets or spotted, anybody ever ask on a net?
No, but this brings up something that has actually been my dream. So how they have like the OMIS net, or they have, like other, traffic or award nets where, stations check in and then they can make calls to, stations.
Oh, like relaying in, yeah, right.
Yeah. So
Yep.
what if we had a POTA HF net where multiple POTA operators are in parks around the country or around the world, and people, call in and see, like try to call Shannon in Massachusetts, try to call Joe
Oh.
in Illinois, try to call, whoever in Florida, and see if they can hear, and they would get, 3 POTA contacts or however many POTA contacts, however
From
many
the net.
people are on the net, and then the people that are in the net, right, can make contact with each other and get park to parks.
Right. That would be an interesting. As a activator, I don't think I would do that in the middle of, say, my activation, but I would definitely be like, before I kind of start my actual official spot. Yeah, that'd be a really good way to say, hey, let's do a primer network and get everybody primed up to get 4 or 5 contacts before they even start their actual official activation. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I mean, I actually made contact. It wasn't a POTA contact, but I was just scanning the bands like a couple Sundays ago, and there were these two guys that I think one was in Nova Scotia, and I can't remember where the other one was, Maryland or Delaware, something like that. And they're
Mhm.
like the Friendship Marathon Net, they call themselves.
Oh, wow.
So the two guys sit on frequency, and they like take turns calling CQ, and then you rag queue back and forth with them depending on, which stations you can hear. So they were super, super nice guys. I'd have to
Huh.
look back at my logs to remember what their call signs were, but they I think they only do it from like March until November or something like that, because the one guy that lives in Nova Scotia, I think he goes south for the winter.
Winter. Yeah. Yeah.
Um
Interesting.
but I think that would be a cool idea to do for like a POTA net.
That would be. That
Maybe,
you might be onto
even
something.
just try it as like a special event once on a
Yep.
specific day and a specific time and see if it works. And if it works, then, we could expand it to like a monthly thing or a weekly thing or a
Hmm.
daily thing.
Yeah, maybe we can, eventually oust the 14.300 maritime net
Yeah,
and make
we'll just take it over and we'll
that.
make it the POTA net. I'm telling you,
That
maybe
would be really cool.
might
That would
be an
actually get a lot
idea.
of traffic for that frequency. I
Not
guarantee it.
that, we cannot claim any frequency as ham
Hmm.
radio
I,
operators. No frequency is our own. Just
I understand.
putting that out there, FCC overlords, in case you're listening.
They're always watching. So yeah, and so with that, along those lines, that yeah, we're gonna have to workshop that one a little bit, see what we can get going. The other one is obviously we alluded to at the very top of the show. There is that obviously, yeah, feel free to ask the first hunter that responds to your, CQ POTA if they would be willing to spot you, and if they don't, then or they can't because they're maybe a mobile unit or they don't have internet or they can't get to a computer. Yeah, feel free to go ahead and do, ask the next person until eventually you get somebody, to basically spot you. And a lot of times when people, a lot of hunters do this, is that, it might actually just already happen because a hunter might be like, oh, I found them, but they're not on the spotting page kind of thing after spinning the dial. They are going to be the first persons, I guarantee, a lot of times, because I've seen a lot of people post other spots for me, even if I didn't ask them to do that. And then all of a sudden the floodgates kind of open up and people start hunting you down. So I think the POTA community as a whole is always willing to accommodate and willing to help out any way they can. So, that is always a available option to consider, in asking, and doesn't require any of the other stuff that we talked about before. So, 1429. Yes, Mike. Those are actually good frequencies. We should figure out how to, we'll call the official net there. All right. Well, so I didn't want to overwhelm people a lot with a lot of these options. But, if there's, again, any of these you want me to kind of elaborate on, maybe, do a separate video on, feel free to hit me up, in the Discord there and let us know what's, what you want to see out of it. Because ultimately, these tools, I am going to try my hardest to integrate into some of my POTA activations, even though I'm kind of a more, off the cuff, hunter. Sorry, not hunter, activator. So I will definitely try that. I actually have been enjoying the one app that has worked really well for me because if you're here in New England, Verizon cell service is starting to get crappier instead of where they used to be. And, my park that I used to go down the street that's 5 minutes away, I used to have great cell service. Now I've got one bar. And so I have gone down there and tested the app called POTA Offline Spot, and that worked 100%. And so, that's going to kind of be my normal go-to if I need to get spotted. And I can't do it via my tablet or whatever. So yeah, things like that. Definitely great to have in your POTA kit and, helps you be able to keep that activation rolling no matter what. I mean, obviously, ultimately, once you get out there anyway, it just rolls normally, naturally. But, bands might be tough that day and you got to come up with alternatives. Okay. Anything else I might have missed in the chat there? I mean, obviously, it's a very short, kind of descript list here, but hopefully it kind of inspired you. And I will share all of those links I said before. I'll put them in the description after the show. So if you want to check those out, they'll also be in the Discord too as well, of all of the information I did research on to find more about how these tools work and how to get them into your POTA kit.
Yeah, Roger said that he would be interested in a SOTAmat setup video. He said he needs to figure out what he's doing wrong.
Well, we will try that out. I did set up SOTAmat a long time ago. I think I have to go back and recreate my account because it in the process of doing it, I followed along with a lot of the YouTube videos that are out there. But they definitely were helpful, and it took a little bit of time, but we'll go through that and get one out there for you. 71.99 for the UK.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that.
Thank you, Mike, for reminding me that,
We have
40 meters ends at 7.20 in the UK, so we have to
roll over.
We have to go below that on 40 meters if we want to get the UK, which of course we want to get our friends in the UK because we love the UK.
Yeah, exactly. And everybody's got to have a fair shot at that. And dude, if this is going to take off, I want to be able to work those POTA parks that are over, that are DX for me more than the stateside ones per se, just because of, they're DX. It's simple.
Exactly.
So yeah, let's workshop that over there in the Discord. I think that'd be a good idea. Maybe we can get this some legs underneath it and start talking more. And as always, as a reminder for those that joined a little later, we still have we have honored the desire and the need. So maybe you want to get more Brew and Activate content in your, say, podcast feed. We have now a full podcast and the whole entire back catalog from day one to last week's episode is all on that list. So you can download that to your heart's content and listen to it. So it's basically the same show with a little bit of edits here and there for audio quality. And so, yeah, feel free to check that out and add that into your pod roll. Let us know what you think. Is there something that, we want to elaborate on, or maybe, if there's a future topic out of those the episodes you hear, feel free to share that with us. And we'll get that into our topic list. So I don't know. Outside of that, it was kind of keeping it light here. I wanted to just give you guys some very high level kind of, things to think about. And we obviously got a request for the SOTAMate stuff, so we'll definitely do something like that. And, I'll do a separate video on that, and, we'll see where we go from there. But, if there's anything I might have missed that, you might use in your arsenal or of, let me know. Because I always want to see what I can do to add, to that process. And the wiki is almost there. Almost there. I've got to, throw a couple more hours behind it just to kind of get it run. 7-3 there, Mike. Good to see you. And that'll be up so people can start contributing to our field guide there. So those that are new to the show here, we're putting together a POTA field guide. It's going to be a community kind of driven thing. And the idea is just to share all the stuff we've learned, put in some processes around it, make it easy for those that are jumping into the POTA program first time, or maybe you're a, seasoned activator and hunter looking for a new way to connect or build your kit up better, or, learn better, operator practices, that type of stuff. That's what the wiki is going to be for. And so that'll be coming up soon in the, future shows. I'll talk more about that. That's all I got for you guys today. Hopefully I didn't bore you to death.
Never. You could never bore us to death, Eric.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the Shannon there. And it was definitely, a fun topic to kind of research. I always like doing a little of those deeper dives to learn more about these tools. So yeah, if you liked what you saw, definitely make sure you like, subscribe, share, head over to Shannon's channel. If you haven't subscribed to her, we'll keep encouraging her gently to keep working towards getting some videos out there so we can get her closer to getting in on the membership sponsor stuff. So outside of that, as always, please head over, check out our sponsors, at least on my channel. They all help support me by doing some amazing stuff and are great sponsors and partners. And so that's Reliance Antenna, Mad Dog Coils, and Spool Antenna, and Halibut Electronics. I keep always forgetting Halibut, and my apologies on that. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of discount links on my site. So, it's getting close to the holiday season. If you want to, get something for that ham in your life, maybe yourself, or treat yourself, I should say. Yeah, use those discounts, get a couple of free, dollars knocked off there, and maybe pick up Haliki, which is a really cool little thing if you've seen that. Or I know Halibut's got a bunch of chokes. One day, we may see his SOAR unit come back, which I'm hoping, which is going to be his satellite all-in-one mode receiver. I've got my money just burning a hole in my pocket waiting for that to come back on the scene. But all of that, all great guys, all great supporters of the channel there, and help us out. So go show them some love. And so with that, any last final comments, Shannon, there you want to throw in?
No, I was just going to say, make sure you check out the Live Free and Ham store. So, if you want some Brew and Activate merch. And
Oh, yeah.
I'm also
Forgot
going to
about
have, like I mentioned earlier in the show, but for those who may have come late, I'm going to have a t-shirt on there that I designed. And then also, for those of you who are fans of N1OG, the Grouch, he does have a couple t-shirt designs of mine on his own page. So if you'd like to check those out, head over to the Grouch's store.
Yep.
Which
Very
I'm trying to see if I can find links to those.
Yeah,
as we
just
speak.
look up the Grouch of New Hampshire. He's got his links on his YouTube page there too, so you can always grab it there if you want to check that out while Shannon's digging it out. Yeah. So outside of that, it's been a great ride today, and stay warm, and we will catch you guys later. And don't forget, get out and POTA this weekend. I don't care if you're in your car or you're out on a bench, make some RF noise there. So next time, keep your radios on, the PTT down, and POTA on.
POTA on, guys.